Welcome back to another video here on the Floating Adventure YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. Happy you're here. In today's video, we're going to be changing the oil on my 15 horsepower Mercury, which is just off frame. And I'm also going to be doing the oil change as well as the lower gear shaft change where the propeller is. Just a little disclaimer, this is not a tutorial video. This is not a professional video. This is literally my first time ever changing the oil on an engine. So I'm just following YouTube, but I just wanted to kind of document my adventure, let's say, my potential fail or whatever. So I'm going to show you everything I'm using for this oil change. The first thing is some 4-stroke 25W40 engine oil. This is for the main oil. I think my engine needs about 1.1 quarts according to what I was seeing, so this should in theory be enough oil. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure. My motor is a 4-stroke. It has an oil filter just like a car, so I got this oil filter I found online, which hopefully will fit the motor. So we'll see. This is all Quicksilver brand. We also have the oil filter wrench, which I got. This should fit the oil filter on the motor in theory. For the lower gear shaft, I have this gear lube, which should be good for the lower gear shaft. And in order to do it, you actually need to pump it in. So I got this little fluid pump for gear lube. So we'll see if this works out. And finally, at the end, we'll have to try it out. And originally, I was using like a bucket system, but I decided to get one of these plungers, which obviously is a lot better than like submerging the propeller area underwater, like with a bucket or something. So yeah, I got one of these finally, so this will be nice. So, well, let's get started with the oil change. All right, so the very first thing we have to do is remove the case that the engine is inside of. This is literally the first time since owning this motor that I've opened this case. So I haven't seen inside of here in quite a long time. I think when I bought the motor originally, they opened it up, but I haven't opened it up since, so we'll see what it looks like. So let's see here. Like, you go like this, so it's loose, I think. Yeah, there it goes. All right. Take this. I don't think this is, yeah, that's not part of the case. Put it around this. There she is. Look at that motor, bro. Let me set this off to the side. So here's kind of the internals of the motor. It looks so fresh, so clean. Wow. Here's the oil filter, which we will be getting at. We'll see. This is a different model number than the one I have, but maybe we got the wrong one, question mark, but we'll see. So here's the oil fill cap. This is the oil dipstick to check the oil. The engine is here, of course, the pull start. There's one thing I want to check in the future, and that is the fuel filter. That's one of the things that I heard you should check quite often, so we'll see what that looks like, but we'll see how this goes. I have no idea what I'm doing, so but we'll keep going here. Okay, the next thing they say to do once you take off the engine case is to tilt her up. So I'm gonna tilt the drive up, and then you'll kind of flip it starboard. So with this is, by the way, this is the oil drain plug. We'll kind of twist it so it's facing down. And this is the plug we have to get at. So this 5/8 wrench should fit in here, which it does. This will be interesting. So I have this little, I use this for changing my car oil, this little thing, whatever. So I'm gonna have to like get this fitted like here or something. We'll see how this goes. Oh my god. But everyone learns from something, right? This will be the first and the last time I'll be struggling with this type of thing. Also, my boat is not wide enough for me to have much working space here. But I think I'm gonna try to, I'll figure it out. Good old WD-40, let's grab that. Well, this drain plug is not coming off, so I'm gonna try some WD-40, put that on and see what happens. My thinking is there might be a lot of saltwater corrosion on this thing. So let's let that cure for a couple minutes, or just a little bit, and see what happens. Finally! We got it. I broke loose that nut. That thing was just stuck on there. I'm gonna switch back to my Alright, I'm gonna come back to using the, yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna get my drain canister ready. Let me tilt the motor the rest of the way down. Get this ready. I'm not sure what kind of blowback I'm gonna get. That looks like I'm gonna just start hand doing it. Alright, here we go. Here goes nothing. I don't know if you guys can really, let me go like this so you can see it. Alright. Okay, so not much oils. That's so black. Jesus, I've needed to do this for quite a while. But we'll wait for this to drain. Is this twisted all the way over? Yeah. So we'll wait for this to start dripping. The next thing we're gonna do is tilt it back down for a couple minutes and then bring it back up and then let it drain again. They also said we should inspect the seal around this nut, which the seal looks fine. Here it's kind of like a washer and it looks fine basically if there's any cracks or anything, but for me mine looks good, so that's good. But we will wait for this to drain and I'll return. Okay, so this is to a point it's kind of getting ready to begin to dip. So what I'll do now is screw this back in hand tight, get it started and get her screwed back in. Take her like this, hand tight. Now once that's done, we're gonna drop the motor. All right, drop the motor, and we're gonna allow some of the oil to drain back down here for a couple minutes. So there we go. Let's do that. Okay, well, it's been a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and lift the motor back up twist her to starboard. And then we'll unscrew this and drain the extra oil was stuck in the engine. So let's undo this. And we should see some more oil than we were seeing, in theory, based on what I was seeing in the video. And there it is, more oil. So I think we'll do this maybe an extra time, one more time. Get everything out of here. And once everything's out, then we can move on to the next step. All right, another couple minutes have passed. Bring her back up. Twist her over and get this last bit of oil out of here. And that, in theory, should just be about everything. So I'm gonna let this drain for a little bit, maybe get it to where it's starting to drip this time, and then I'll cut back in once we move on to the next step. Well, it turns out that that oil filter wrench I bought that I showed in the beginning of this video does not actually fit this oil filter, which I had a feeling that something like that would happen. So I just went to the store and got this oil filter wrench, and hopefully this will fit this oil filter. So what we need to do, I have some paper towel here. What we're gonna do is put something underneath the oil filter to catch any oil that might drip out of this filter. So I will tuck this towel underneath of this filter. Try to do it as much as possible so I could absorb as much oil as I can. Okay. Once that's tucked under there, and I feel confident and satisfied enough that that will absorb any oil that drips, we can grab our oil filter wrench and loosen this filter. Now, I bought one of these wrenches because I have no idea what kind of size this is, so I'm just kind of guesstimating and hoping that it works, which, we'll see, bro, we'll see. Okay, she's starting to turn ever so slightly. I'm trying not to damage this filter too much, but I've already done some damage to it because of this wrench. But I kind of figured that would happen. This thing was on pretty tight, so once we get enough to where we can hand do it, then we're not quite there yet. This is good for taking these off, but if you can see this thing's pretty damaged. But now we're loose to the point where we can completely do it ourselves. So I'm gonna try to not dump as much oil as I possibly can. This motor is so nice. It looks fresh and clean. The last thing I'd want to do is mess it up because of my incompetence. Do this. All right. Once this loosens up, then we will try to just go like this Good. Okay, we did not lose that much oil. You can see only just like literally a little bit dripped out. Now I'm gonna open up the new oil filter. By the way, I'm gonna make sure I have this on video, the filter type, and then I can get this type in the future because I would like to get Mercury branded stuff. I do that with my truck. I only get Ford Motorcraft products, so I think I want to do that for the future because I like to keep in with the Mercury stuff with the same stuff. Well, I'm just doing some testing and it looks like that this filter is gonna fit. It looks like it's the same size. Those look exactly the same, don't they? Oh, this one's a little bit smaller. But in terms of the sizing, it should, yeah, you can see this. It's the same size. All right, let's get, so I'm gonna open up the oil and put some oil around the ring, the bearings of this or whatever. Dip my finger in. If I can even fit my fat finger in here. Let's use my pinky. We'll use our pinky and we'll just lubricate the bearing here. Make sure she's all lubed up and ready to go. Once we get this lubed up, try to keep any debris out of here. I'm gonna screw this back onto the thing so I don't dump this everywhere. Now I'm gonna screw this into here and I'm gonna see how this goes. Once I get started here, it should be good to go. Yeah, she's starting to go down. So this fits perfectly. Perfect. So we'll get it hand tight, and then they say to do a 3/4 to a 1/4 turn. So I'm gonna mark, let's say where this 3 is, this little divot here will be where I'm measuring. So I'm gonna either get this down to like down here or back all the way up here for a full turn. We'll see how this goes. I'm not even sure if I can get a complete turn, but I'm measuring from the 3. We're getting creative. There we go. Let's do a 3/4 turn here. All right, we are good, I think. The oil filter is in place. Let me show you a little close-up here. Unfortunately, that tool does kind of scrape this up, so I think I'm gonna get a better tool. I saw that on the video I was watching, they actually use like a little socket thing where you can actually use a socket to do that. So I think I'm just gonna use this tool for removing, and then I'm gonna use that socket to actually install. But I also know that this filter works here. So for my motor, this particular filter with this model number works with my motor as well. So I've got 2 options here. By the way, the whole time I'm doing this, I'm learning. So I now know my oil filter. We're gonna start to do the oil next. That's gonna be the next step. But I'm literally learning as I go, and this is kind of like how you have to do it, is just learn as you go. So we got the filter in. Once we do our testing, we're gonna see if there's any leaks. But in the meantime, for now, we're going to fill our oil. So let's get that done. All right, now that we got the oil filter in place, the next step, we're gonna actually fill the oil. So I'm gonna unscrew this cap. set this off to the side. I have a funnel, and I'm gonna put 1 quart of oil into this thing. All right, so let's put 1 quart into this motor. All right, I'm gonna screw this back in. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is check the dipstick. Let's go ahead and do this. Put it back in. Take her out. Or where we need to be, I think. But also, there's no oil inside of the oil filter. So this is not the most accurate reading, I don't think, right now. I might have to start the motor up and then get a more accurate reading, because on the YouTube video they were saying 1.1 quarts, and I'm stupid and only bought 1 quart, so I might have to go buy another quart of oil and put a little bit in, but we'll see. Okay, let's see what. So this is pretty full right now. Well, what I think I'm gonna do is run the motor for a little bit and allow the oil to kind of move to the oil filter, shut the motor off, and then let the oil settle, and then get an idea of where my oil is, and then I can add more. And it's also really easy to take out, because unlike a car where it's way on the bottom, this is where we take the oil out. So let's go ahead and start the motor up and see what happens. Got my my new suction cup thing all sorted and got her started. Now I'm just gonna let her run for a little bit. Check for leaks. So I'm getting ready to head back to this to the store. I'm gonna return some of the things that I got the wrong thing of. So I ended up getting the incorrect filter wrench, so I'm gonna return that. And then I got the wrong gear lube, so I'm gonna go and get the correct gear lube. I went online and found the service manual for the motor, and found what the correct lubricant is, so we're gonna get that, and hopefully we can finish this oil change. It's almost done. I just have to top it off a little bit more, and then the next thing I'm gonna do the lower gear change, the lower gear oil thing, you know, whatever that's called. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go and get the correct stuff. I'll be back once I get back and start topping off the engine oil. Well, it's been several hours since the last clip. As you can see, we now have sunlight on the subject, but I finally got more of this oil, and what took a long time is to actually get this 80W20 gear lube, which is used for the lower shaft. This stuff was hard to find. I had to go to several places just to find that. So I put the oil in, and if I take the dipstick out, you can see, let's see if we can get a good view right there. We're within the 2 dots. We're kind of on the upper half, which is just fine because it's still within range. So oil is done after several hours between clips. the oil is complete, I'm gonna put the cap on this, and then I'm gonna start with the lower gear for the propeller, the gear for that. I don't remember what it's called. You know, this is my first time doing this, so. But yeah, let's get this done. We'll be right back. All right, so we are now ready to move on to the lower gear oil change. So you can see we have this drain plug here and this drain plug up here. Basically what we're gonna do is first remove this screw, which will start draining the gear lube out of this port, and we will open this one to allow kind of a vacuum effect, to let some air in to let more out. Then what we're gonna do is use the ADW20 gear lube along with this pump device. Basically, we're gonna screw this into the ADW20, we're gonna pump, and this part here will actually be going and screwing into this. And the idea is we pump until fluid starts leaking out of the top, then that's when we know that we can stop. So first thing we're gonna do is unscrew this bottom screw here. So let's get started doing that. This might be a bit difficult. Okay, we cracked it open, and I can already see some gear lube starting to drip out of the bottom part here. I'm gonna use my hand, and there we go. So we can just leave the screw here, and to allow more to come out, we're gonna unscrew the top one. Of course, now my fingers are all lubricated and I can't get a good grip. That's just great. This fluid doesn't look too bad, actually. Kind of surprised, to be honest, but it's a good thing that we're changing this out. All right, we have a paper towel. Let's see if we can get a better grip on this top screw here. There we go. All right, we'll unscrew this one. And that should, yeah, there it goes, start to allow more fluid through. Let all that drain into the drain port. We'll let all this fluid drain. Okay, so here's the apparatus. I got it screwed into the bottle. The next thing we're gonna do is try to screw this end into the gear lube hole, which it's not fitting, so we have this adapter that they gave us. In theory, this should fit, which it does. So we'll screw this all the way in, like so. Then we should be able to screw this in here, like so. Now that we got that, we're gonna start to pump the lubricant into here, and we know we're good when it starts to come out of the top. So we just keep pumping until we see some fluid. There it goes. You see that? We have now leaked fluid on top, which means that we have reached our fill. And now we will screw this top screw in first. And I'm going to use the Phillips once more, or excuse me, the flathead, to get this tightened. I'm going to lube or de-lube my hands and then tighten that a little more. The bottom one here, we got to be kind of quick because fluid is going to start wanting to leak out. So what we're going to do is just kind of do a little simultaneous little thing here. Unscrew and quickly screw back in. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Then we'll screw this one in like so. And I'm gonna tighten these down a little more once my hands are delubed, but that was it. That was pretty easy. So you undo this, and you can't put the liquid in through the top, you actually have to squirt it in through the bottom. That's what I was learning about on YouTube when I was watching these videos. Okay, so now that we have completed the lower case fluid change, this propeller is very smooth, spins without any issue, and I think it looks good. I'm not seeing any leaks down here. This is just from when I was draining it, but I don't see any leaks, so that's good. So I think we've successfully changed our oil in both the top case and the lower case. Well, that basically wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. We got the oil changed and the engine is serviced and pretty much ready to go, I think. The only thing I still kind of want to check is the fuel filter. I might check that in a different video, but I feel accomplished because I've never changed the oil on a boat motor before. So to actually like have my first experience with it, now I know exactly what to do, what fluids I need. I know is basically like a test run for the future. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think in the next video we'll be out on the water just doing whatever we do, just relaxing, reading, just vibing. That's kind of how it goes out there. But yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.